This part of the video shows how to inspect and clean manifold. Check every port and hole for chips, nest of chips, and chip tags hanging in the ports. Be sure to check each hole and loosen and unwedge all chips, nest of chips, and chip tags. Turn the manifold and repeat, again checking all ports and holes for chips, nest of chips, and chip tags hanging in the ports. As well, be sure to check all 5 sides. Here's an example of using a flashlight and illuminating the hole, checking for any chips or debris. This part of the video is showing how to wash the manifold. Flood every port and hole extensively to wash out all chips and debris with the cleaning fluid. As you can see, when you are flooding a port or another hole, the fluid will discharge from other areas of the manifold, thus removing chips and debris from within inside the manifold. Be sure to flood the manifold from all 5 sides, extensively flushing through every port and hole in the manifold. It is now time to dry and re-inspect the manifold. Using forced air, you can blow through every port and hole in the manifold, removing any chips or debris and flushing fluid. Be sure to blow compressed air from all 5 sides of the manifold in all the ports and the holes. It is extremely important to make sure there are no chips or debris in the manifold prior to assembling the manifold. When inspecting the manifold, you will check every port and hole to ensure there are no chips or debris remaining in the manifold. If any chips or debris are found in the manifold, you will have to repeat the process of washing and flooding the manifold. Again, it is extremely important there are no chips or debris left in the manifold prior to assembling the manifold. This should take as many times as needed to be sure the manifold is chip and debris free. This part of the video is showing how to assemble the manifold. You need to clean, dress, and install the fittings. Using Loctite 561 pipe sealant, which is a better alternative to thread tape, you clean the fitting, you apply the pipe seal, and install the fitting. Do not over tighten the fitting as it may crack. As you can see in the video, it's better to do one fitting at a time. Below the fitting, apply the thread seal, Loctite 561, and assemble the fitting into the manifold. Again, not over tightening it as it will crack the fitting. Once the manifold is assembled, you will need to cover all ports and holes with fitting covers or tape to ensure that the manifold stays clean and debris free. Also clean all hoses and fitting and tubes prior to assembling the machine. It's important not to have any chips or debris in the manifold or hydraulic system. This part of the video is showing how to test the pinion. There will be 3 different lengths programmed. Program 12-inch length, do a trim cut, allow the machine to cycle, and just as it starts that cut at the 12-inch point, press the yellow interrupt button and check the part. It needs to be 0.000 to 0.002 with no negative. Now program a 24-inch length cut. Again, do a trim cut. Allow the cycle to cycle the 24 inches. And again, as soon as the blade starts to cut the material, you want to hit or press the yellow cycle interrupt button. Measure the part. it should be 24 inches or 0.000 to 0.002. Again, no minus. Now you will program a 42-inch part, again starting with a trim cut and allowing it to cycle 3 pulls. If at any time in this process your parts are pulling short or beyond the 0.002, you will need to adjust the pinion setting and repeat this process. As it starts to make its cut in the material, you again will need to press the cycle interrupt button and measure the part. Again, checking. It should be at 42 inches minus 0 to 0.002. No negative is acceptable. It's now time to check and set the kerf. Program a 0.500 cut times 3 cuts, starting with a trim cut. Allow the machine to make the 3 cuts of 0.0 500. These parts need to be 0.00 to 0.005 with no negative. Adjust the kerf as needed and repeat the process. This part of the video is showing the bundle cut option. Program the job to do short pulls while the machine is cutting. The shuttle vise should stay nearest the machine vise. throughout the cut. As again, it retracts, clamps on the material, pulls it forward, and remains nearest the machine vise while making the cut. Testing out of stock. With short pieces in the shuttle, you put the piece in the shuttle, you allow it to cycle. Right now it's doing an air cut with no material in the machine vise and a small piece clamped in the shuttle vise. It's retracting back with that little piece in the shuttle vise. Shuttling forward. Retracting with the vise open, remove the small piece. When the shuttle vise clamps, it will display out of stock. You know that your out of stock option is working. Checking the flatness of the cut using a 5-inch round. Do a trim cut on the length of material. We remove the material from the vices. Lightly file any burrs off the edge of the material. Using a square, check and be sure that you've made a flat cut. Should be 0.002 to 0.000 with no dishing in the center of the material. Adjust vices and blade guides to achieve the 000 to 0.002. Quality is number one. Happy testing.